let's talk about flow automation. Flow automation is a follow-up sequence that you can put in place because Instagram, Facebook allow you to have a 24-hour messaging window. So this allows you to not only send the initial message, but it allows you to follow up, make sure they got the link, ask if they have any questions. It might be a place where you can send some pre-qualifying questions to ask them on, how you could tailor more support for them, how you could give them a different lead magnet, a different training if that's more relevant. It also allows you to even put them on your email list, which is one of the things that I do. As you can see, I have numerous flows created. And the reason is I like to have a flow, a follow-up sequence that is logical for each of the universal triggers that I'm putting out. So I use mine with universal triggers. Now you can obviously, if you want to keep it really simple, you might have a one flow that is your follow-up sequence for all of your different automations, and we'll talk about having a separate starter message for each of them. But it might just be a simple, hey, just checking in, make sure you got it, did you have any questions? And then your other one might be, hey, if you really like this or you would like to get added to my secret list, then here is how you can opt in for the other trainings, in which case we would put in a lead flow, meaning that we're capturing their name and email address so that we can add them to our email list. Now there is a ton of things that you can do inside, but what I wanted to do before I showed you how to set it up is I wanted to show you through one so that you could see how it works. Now the amazing thing with this is it allows you to name your flows, so you can go in and you can name them so you can identify them. So as you can see, I name them by the keyword and then what it is it's doing. So this here it means that it's part of my auto keyword, that it's a DM training, and it's got the offer attached to it. I also have an auto tech check. So this is basically a follow-up message that goes out about 12 hours later. And it's just like, did tech work? Did you get the link? Could you open it kind of message? And then of course I have, would you like to be added to my email list? It's where all my secret trainings go up, and it's where you get first access to everything before anyone on social media. And then of course it's, hey, we're running out of time. Did you want to look at it? If not, trigger the automation again. Now you do have the ability here to have a follower growth tool. Now in this case, what it does is it goes off to test if they're a follower, because some of the times with the different privacy settings, if they're not following you, they may not be able to get some of your automation depending on their privacy settings. So what this tool does is it allows you to check if they're a follower or not, and it prompts them to become a follower. It borderlines on spammy practices, because if it's done well, it can work to grow your following. If it's done poorly, however, it actually serves as a deterrent and someone who might have been interested in your training and your offer, because remember, people don't need to be a follower to buy. All we need to do is do the utmost that we can to get them to the automation. So if we know, for instance, that they're not a follower and we have the comment auto replies that go out, we can also go back to that comment and say, hey, just checking in, did you get it? If not, check your spam or your requests or whatever. So we can go back and get them. But if we are triggering the follower thing that's pushing them constantly to be a follower, then it can be like a black hole in our system that loses people, because they're like, I didn't want to follow you, I just wanted to see what you were about. So that's a little bit of a warning for you there. You can use it, you cannot use it. I've seen people use the follower growth tool because they're checking and they're asking, hey, if you want this secret bonus offer, if you want this secret lead magnet, make sure you're following me or it won't be sent, etc. And this tool will actually stop the rest of the automation flow going out. So if you have a really high lead magnet, it might be worth it. Personally, I would put maybe an email list ad instead, but that is what that tool does. Now, the rest of these automations, which I'll go over in a second, are controlled by the time delay that you put on them. So as we set it up, you'll see that come into place. Now, if you're using this with a universal flow, so let me just open my universal flows. This, let's just say it's auto as an example, and this is being used with the auto initial flow. You have the ability in here to be able to go to the settings, create a custom starter DM. So when I would create a custom starter DM is maybe you do have one follow-up sequence that goes to everyone. You don't want to customize follow-up sequences, so you just have one follow-up sequence that goes off. My personal opinion is you want to customize them because you want to get them to whatever they're interested in as quickly as possible, and then you want to link whatever they were interested in to other relevant resources and training. But if you did have just one follow, then you would turn this on, and what I use the starter DM for is basically a permission thing, because sometimes what can happen is automation will go off and the person never asked for it. They just made the mistake of, in this case, commenting auto. In another post that I have, it comments tech, for instance. Whereas if I put a custom starter message on, before this automation goes off, the starter DM will go off and it says, hey, I saw that you commented the word auto. Would you like the information on benefit that helps you to benefit? So basically, I saw that you commented auto. I love that you are interested in potentially automating your DMs and automating your sales systems. I have a training. Would you like the training? And then the button says, give me the training. So that is a custom DM starter. When they click give me the training, then this universal trigger goes off, or the message that you have next in this flow. So I wanted to show you that because that is something that's really important, is understanding the sequence. So your starter DM, whether it's a starter DM that's created here or it's a starter DM that's created here, they will go off first. And then it will almost, as soon as they click that button, it'll send whatever you've put in the universal trigger or whatever you've put in the message, which you saw me set up under simple DM automations for each of the posts and reels. Then is when you can start to have the different steps in it. So I wanted to show you that. Now your reminder is your last message sent, and you have a 24-hour window that you can interact with them. With automation, it's taken away from you at that point. So I send out my reminder about 2 hours or so before. So let's go in and have a look how you actually start a flow automation. So I'm going to click back to flows. I'm going to create a new flow. And this is where you come into your DM setup. So this is your starter. So you might have, I usually name everything. So order starter as an example, and you can go, thanks for the comment, I saw you commented the word blah, tap the button below if you would love access to my training, whatever it is that you're giving them, and you put that here. Make it obvious that it's the button with some kind of emoji. Now you can come over to settings, you can apply it to all posts, you can have these as your safety features, because I have had Instagram glitch and it just keeps sending the same message over and over again. And I've been able to say to clients, hey, just comment the word stop and it'll stop doing it. So that is how you can have a backup plan. I don't have this reply stop to opt out. I just literally have it there as something I tell them, but that is something that you can do as well. Configuration, you can say skip it if possible, start a DM, like you can have all of this fancy stuff and just click save. Now you have a starter DM. So then what you can do is you can go add flow sequence. Now this is when, if you wanted to do a follower check, you would add the follower check tool. And if you were to add that, let me show you. It allows you to say a custom message, and then they would go and they'd follow you. It would check again. If they're not following you, and you're going to check 3 times, however many times here, you can choose. 2, 3, 4 is by the look of it. I personally probably wouldn't do it more than 2 or 3 times, because at that point it's annoying to me personally. But then all you do is you customize the button. So when they followed you, they click the button and that's it. So I'm going to save that. Then we can go add another flow sequence. So this is where you can set up a custom DM. So it might be something that you're giving more value on. So when I do a lot of my riddle reveals where I'm giving extra information, it will sit in this kind of custom DM. And again, you now control when it gets sent out. So this is 1 hour after the previous message. Now what I like to do is I like to name it. So in this case I might say auto, and I name it value bomb as an example because it's giving more value. I don't tend to use a carousel unless I'm leading them to a YouTube link or, you know, something on my website, a training on my website. So I tend to go to message template more, and I just type a message. The reason that I like this is because it feels more personal. Now if you want to, you can also put emojis in it by going to emojipedia.org. You might search, let's say, love heart, and it'll bring up the different types of love hearts. You just simply click on it and you copy, and then you can come back to the software and you can put a little emoji in. Emojis just help to break up, especially if you're doing a lot of text. So you can right click and just go paste, and you'll see your little emoji comes in there. When you've got everything that you want it to do, when you've sent after an hour, when you've sent how many times that you want this to be sent, then you just click save. So from here, then what we can do is we can go up and we can add another flow sequence. So this is where you might want to then ask them after 12 hours if they want to join your email list and get your bonus resources, etc. And once you are done, then you can come back up to add flow sequence, and now you can put in another custom DM if you want to have a different message that goes out. So you want to add more value, maybe you want to ask them some multi-choice questions to qualify them, all different sorts of amazing things that I teach you inside my DM automation program. Otherwise, you can do a lead gen, which is a form to collect their details and get on your email list that you can download. I've done a whole video training on lead generation. Or you can just then end with the reminder. All of the automations that you set up, except the reminder, are controlled by the time that you put on them. So this is how you can do a really simple automation follow-up to maximize the opportunity that you have to get people answering you in the 24-hour window that we are allowed with Meta. A lot of the time you'll find that maybe your first message they won't answer. So when we have them clicking and we have follow-up messages, because sometimes the automation sequence will fire off and maybe they're still scrolling, you know, Instagram or Facebook, and they don't go and look at it. So sometimes having that other message go off just reminds them, if they're not someone who is constantly checking their DMs. But that is basically how you do it, and as you can see, it is not complicated at all. And you can use obviously the same one, or you can create a customer journey and warm up your leads so that by the time that you jump in, you can automatically see all of the people that have started conversations with your chatbot, and you can jump in and you can start to interact with them personally. You can see where they stop messaging. So you know, first of all, if you're really time poor, who do I engage on social media? Obviously, you're going to engage on the warm and hot leads that are triggering your automation, but it also allows you to be able to then create conversation and keep moving forward. The other amazing thing is, if I come into Instagram, it may not work on a computer, but let me try. I can come into Instagram and I can come up the top here and I can search auto as an example, and it's going to bring up all of the people that have commented the word auto. So these are the people that I can put on my list. These are the people I can go back and engage with. So if you have a sale that comes up as an example, by doing this, it makes you so that all your leads are now searchable. So as you can see, all of these people have commented the word auto, so I can go back through them and follow up, engage with them, ask them questions. You know, if I do a training video on it, I can give them more value, so I can keep warming people up. And this is why having a keyword, especially a unique keyword, so I think I used this one previously. So if I go step 1, 2, 3, you can see that I had someone a year ago comment that. This is especially unique keywords like what I'm using here, where you can search them and there's not going to be any other versions of it, like auto might have automation, auto might also have automotive as an example. But this allows you to go in and be able to see your leads and being able to follow up with them and knowing specifically what they're about and knowing who to engage with. So that is how I use the flow sequence. It is not complicated. It is just click, type, which allows you to potentially have a higher increase in conversions and to warm your leads up and to be able to look for qualified buyers.